Welcome to Choose Your Own Adventure Book Club. Today we are reading Race Forever. So, we're just going to read a little bit. Here we go. There are dangers, choices, adventures, and consequences. You must use all of your numerous talents and much of your enormous intelligence. The wrong decision could end in disaster, even death. But don't despair. At any time, you can go back and make another choice, alter the path of your story, and change its result. You unexpectedly find yourself the lead driver of an international road rally in Nairobi, Kenya. This is a big deal, the kind of opportunity for which you've been training your entire life. 2 races, one for speed and the other for skill, await you. You can choose your car and you can choose your course, but you can't choose whom you're up against or what you'll encounter in the wilderness. Flash floods, guerrilla warriors, enraged rhinos, and busted axles will foil you at every turn in the road. And remember, finishing the race does not always mean you've won.
Ooh, I think this one sounds really good, actually. We've been almost too nervous to look out the plane window at the African countryside below. The smiling flight attendant leaning over to check your seatbelt jolts you back to reality. We are approaching the airport in Nairobi now. You look out the window. Now you can see the large modern city below. The gently rolling terrain is unlike the Arizona ranch country where you grew up. You remember the email that brought you here. Congratulations, you have been selected to compete in a series of African road rallies designed to test both the skill of the drivers and the ruggedness of the cars. You weren't sure you could handle a race like this, but your dad poo-pooed that attitude. It's a picture of the rally.
Oh. I've never been to something like that before, but it seems like it'd be kind of cool.
Fun, like an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you can do it, your dad said. I taught you everything I know, and he knows a lot. He and his brother were competition drivers racing for Italian Ferrari and Lancia teams during the heyday of Le Mans, the Mille Miglia, and the Nürburgring races. As soon as you could see over the steering wheel of a Jeep, your father began teaching you about cars and driving. The hours you spent in Jeeps out on the range and in fast cars on the track, your dad laid out behind the barn have paid off. You wish your dad were here with you, but he couldn't come. Some last-minute business forced him to cancel his reservation. At the competition headquarters, a large banner proclaiming the first African dual road race rally flapped slowly in a light breeze. People standing clumped around a long table are talking excitedly. They are the drivers and navigators, mechanics, and representatives of the companies sponsoring the race. You sign in at the competition desk. Welcome. Here's your copy of the rules and regulations. I'm Michael Raplow, race chairman. He smiles at you, shakes your hand, and gives you a large bright blue folder that says race kit on the cover. You feel nervous. The other drivers look much older than you and seem very sure of themselves. This rally is special, Raplow continues. There are 2 races. One tests speed over fast roads and race-prepared cars. And the other race is a rough road race. Speed counts to you, but you will be driving off-road vehicles. In each race, you will choose your own course, driving from designated checkpoint to checkpoint until you finish. You will select cars and be starting at half-hour intervals to avoid head-to-head racing. The courses are too narrow and crowded with animals and people. Do you understand? Yes, thanks, I understand. You will be paired with a navigator/co-driver chosen by lot, but that will come in a moment. Now you must choose which race you would like to start with.
Oh.
You want to do the speed race or the rough road race?
I think I'm gonna go for the speed race.
Okay.
Alright. The speed race is a difficult event. It is not like the Indianapolis 500. There isn't a track that you roar around lap after lap. You will start in Nairobi and travel through Kenya. You'll drive along fairly good roads, through game preserves, along flat surfaces in the highlands, and through hilly stretches. Finally, you'll end up back in Nairobi. You will be out on the roads at least one night during this race, and possibly 2 nights, depending on what happens. You eye some of your competitors. The German team is dressed in dark blue coveralls with their names in gold lettering over the breast pocket. They look very serious. The team from Zaire is dressed in tan jumpsuits. Though they are smiling, they look every bit as serious as the Germans. Now you are confronted with a choice of 2 cars for this half of the rally. You can choose between a race-prepared Subaru WRX or a race-prepared Audi TT. It's up to you.
I'm gonna go with the Subaru.
Alright.
It's a good family car.
Just what you need in a race.
You've chosen the Subaru WRX, a very roadworthy car. As a free agent, you've chosen to stick with the name of your navigator/co-driver on it. You've picked a yellow stick with the name Zokol on it. He must be Russian, you think. You are partly right. Zokol is Russian, but he turns out to be a she. Zokol smiles at you, shakes hands, and says, I am pleased to meet up with you. I saw your name in the race reports. We will do well together. I am sure of that. You and Zokol examine the Subaru carefully. You give particular attention to the tire treads, which have a special pattern to accommodate the sandy and muddy roads and rocky tracks. They look good to me. How about to you? I think they're fine, Zokol. They're like the ones we use back home in Arizona. She suggests you study the map of the course to plan how you will race. You know, I've been thinking that Audi would be a little faster. We might have to go all out to catch up. You know, not, but perhaps, but if we go all out, we can run into mechanical trouble. There's the wear and tear of high speed on the car, and those roads are really rough in spots. Let's decide. Shall we start out conservatively and count on finishing, or should we go flat out? If you decide to be more conservative, turn to 13. If you decide to go flat out, turn to page 15.
Oh, we're going flat out. It's a speed race.
Alright, do it.
Let's do it. Let's push right to the limit. This car can take it. You and Zokol get the flag from the race committee starters. You slide through the gears until you are running in fourth along a fairly flat stretch at high speed, the very fastest you can go. The car is well tuned and responds quickly to your driving skill. The hours melt away and the blazing sun dips in the western sky. Fuel is getting low. Maybe it would be good to refuel. You nod to Zokol and slow the Subaru down, looking for a good spot to pull off the road. Over there, Zokol says, there's a tree to park under. We need the rest too. Okay, I see it, you answer. Soon the car comes to a halt beneath a grove of trees near the road. You get out and stretch your legs to relieve the muscle cramps. Zokol offers you a canteen with a mixture of tea and sucrose. The extra gas tanks are stored in a rack where the back seat used to be. You hand 2 of the large red cans to Zokol. High speed eats up the fuel really fast. Maybe we'll have to slow down a bit, you say. Zokol is busy pouring the fuel into the tank through a strainer, an extra precaution to keep dirt from clogging the fuel line or injectors. Meanwhile, you open the hood to check the oil. Zokol is lifting a jerry can when it slips and hits the ground, spilling gas and spraying it high. Some of the gas hits the exhaust pipe. Immediately, it ignites. Baroom! Sound effects. Zokol screams. You throw yourself on top of her and knock her to the ground, smothering the furious flames that have started to burn her jumpsuit. Fortunately, the jumpsuit is flame retardant, or it would probably be completely ablaze now. Zokol, are you okay? That gas went up so quickly. I'm okay, but my hands and arms are really burned. Look, she gasps. By the way, this is the picture here. It looks pretty awful.
Yes, it's a big room.
You examine the reddened, puffy skin where the burning gas has left its mark. You get out the first aid kit and spread antiseptic cream on the affected area. Zokol says that she is all right now and insists that you continue the race. You just aren't sure. The burns look pretty bad. The skin is intact. The flames did not penetrate the lower layers of skin, but you think the burns will blister and then could become infected. Also, Zokol is weakened and she could go into shock. What should you do?
Oh my gosh, help the poor people, right?
If you decide that Zokol's burns should be treated, turn to page 23 and head for the last village you passed. If you decide to continue the race, believing that Zokol is all right, turn to page 28. So you're going for helping her?
Don't you think we should help Zokol?
I mean, yeah, that seems probably like a good idea. But we're not going to tell you what happens. You're going to have to check the book out and figure out which path to take. Who knows? Maybe, what did they say at the beginning that we could run into?
Something about gorillas?
Guerrilla warriors.
Guerrilla warriors. I kind of want to meet them.
Enraged rhinos. Flash floods. All of those things. So
Exciting.
check the book out, available at the library. And we also have some activities for you in the grab and go kit.
So there is a license plate game, so the next time you go on a road trip, you have this template here, and all you need to do is check off every time you see one. So
See if you can find all the different states. Ooh, you could try it here in Iowa. I bet you'll find a lot of Iowa and Illinois.
And then the fun part, we're gonna need some scissors and maybe a dot of glue.
All right, so we've got scissors and glue.
Okay, so I'm gonna just separate my twist ties and we can both work on 2 buttons.
Okay.
So you're gonna thread the zip tie through the button
Ooh, okay.
as best you can.
So you might have to kind of like create a pointy little end on your zip
Yeah, I
tie.
kind of folded it and then
Stuck it through.
got it through.
Oh yeah, it actually goes through a lot easier than
And
you would think.
then leave a little bit on the outside there.
Okay.
So after you have your button done on one end, you're gonna take a straw and I would say, I don't know, you can kind of eyeball it. Maybe like 2 inches, cut it.
And do you do that on both strands? Both
Yeah.
button
Yes.
strands? Okay.
So I have a little piece I'm gonna push down on there, and then I'm gonna take my other button and thread that one up and then back through one of the holes.
Just like with the first button.
I don't have much twist tie left, but I'm getting it. You can always make your straw shorter. Okay. So I have an axle.
I almost have an axle.
You almost have one, so we're doing well. Should have a clothespin. And so one of the axles goes right in where the like bigger space is. The other you can use a little bit of glue. If you want to put some glue on there, you can put a dot of glue back in there, and it's gonna go back by the spring on the clothespin.
If you have a glue dot at home, this would be perfect for it. Or a little dot of like hot glue too.
Yep.
But this should do the trick.
Yeah. And it stays in there all right with the just a spring too. So once that dries, you'll have a little car and you can decorate it any way you want. But so the wheels should be moving.
Nice.
We probably need a better surface for
Yeah.
that, but yeah, it just kind of rolls like that.
Very cute. Yes, you could definitely play around with how wide you want the axles to be too.
See what works best.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in with us, you guys. Remember that if you haven't picked up a passport yet, you can do that at any of your Scott County Library branches and collect stickers for every book that you listen along with and do an activity for. So tune in a couple of weeks. We'll have a new one for you.